which you can see and I can't.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this brand new series of the Fearless Entrepreneurs. I'm Rachel Smith, and I'm joined today with Anna McManus-Hughes, which we're going to hear more from in a little while. So a really warm welcome to you if you're watching this live, and to you if you're watching this recording. Anna and I are going to be talking about something that's really, really essential for female entrepreneurs, and Anna's got loads of content that she's going to share with us. But before we get into the detail, I just wanted to kind of reintroduce what this interview series is all about, because it's been a little while since I've actually had people come and join me in this interview series. And really, this is the start of a brand new series kicking off, and I'm really excited about it. I've got some amazing women coming forward who are going to be sharing brilliant content that you can use in your business today. And kind of the key focus is looking and hearing from other successful business women who I'm connected with, and having the opportunity to bring those amazing women to you. So you've got also an opportunity to meet them and to be inspired and to hear their stories and to really understand, a little bit more about the areas of your business that perhaps you need some more information on, or you just need some inspiration to get you going out there. And it's called, the interview series is called Fearless Entrepreneurs, because I really feel that in order to be successful, to grow the success that I've had and the success that I see these women having in their business, is that it is about becoming fearless. And, we're going to be looking at some of the fearless actions that people have taken in their business. And if you feel as if you've got something that you could contribute to this interview series as well, I would love to hear from you. So just pop me a PM and let's have a conversation about that. I'm always on the lookout for other amazing women to come and share their story. So today, it's very, very brilliant timing that we are actually going to be talking about this subject right at the end of September. This is such a prime time to nail today's topic. So I'm joined today with my amazing client, Anna McManus-Hughes, who I have been working with for a little while now, and she's an absolute delight. And I know that you're going to know that by the time the end of this interview can come to an end. But let me just tell you a little bit more about Anna. So Anna is a strategy and planning expert, which is good news considering the topic. Anna helps women to get clarity about their business, to really recognise and hold their compelling vision for their business and for their life. And she helps her clients make that vision that they are working towards happen. She works on accountability, momentum, and a friendly kick up the bottom to get you going, to help you over those bumps that come along. And she is all about helping her clients get consistently excellent, awesome results. So welcome, Anna. Thank you so much for being here this morning and for being my first guest here.
Good morning. It's lovely. Thanks for that welcome.
Yay! We've got lots of lovely people joining us this morning, and you're all very welcome. The way that we're going to manage this interview is, it's quite informal. Really, it's a chat between Anna and I, talking about some key elements. And if you've got questions that you want either Anna or myself to respond to, please post them up in the comments. It's always really nice to know that our audience is engaging with the content, and it helps us to create something more bespoke for you. So if you have got questions, post them in the comments and we'll deal with it towards the end of the actual interview. So today we are here at the end of September talking to Anna, who is a planning expert, on the power of planning. And this is an element of business that so many female entrepreneurs struggle with. They miss out. They do a little bit of this, keeping everything crossed and hoping for the best. And what Anna is really brilliant at is helping and supporting her clients to understand the power of planning. That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get straight into that. And just to set yourself up in a little bit of context, Anna, it'd be really brilliant if you could share with the audience here today about how and when you got into running your own business.
Okay, absolutely. So the reality is that I always class myself as a bit of an accidental entrepreneur. And I wanted to take a career break. So I had been working in corporate environments, public and private sector for nearly 20 years. And the previous 8 years had been at one of the kind of highest levels involving strategy and planning. And it had got to a point where I wanted to take a break. And within a week of me taking a career break, I'd been approached by a friend who was running a consultancy firm who desperately needed some help with business planning and strategy. And I found myself getting sucked back into that world, but clearly as an independent person, so self-employed. And for the first few years, that's what I was doing. I was really kind of supporting businesses. And as time went on, and through working with you and, you know, kind of engaging with other business women, I really realized that the thing that lit me up and the thing that I enjoy doing so much is actually helping business women. So I want them to feel passionate about planning, so not to be scared by it, you know, to accept that putting that planning in place is something that underpins their business. And let's face it, that's why big businesses do it. And if big businesses do it, it's because it works. And it's just a matter of scaling it down. So my passion and the thing that lights me up and the thing I've really been concentrating on for the last few years is working with business women to help them get that in place.
And you're going to help us understand that a little bit further today as well, aren't you, Anna?
I hope so.
So let's talk about the reality then. Many of us understand that, you know, planning obviously is a good idea. There are lots of products and services out there talking about planning. However, I understand from working with my audience and with my clients is that planning is something that women often do struggle with. So from your experience, Anna, what do you think some of the biggest challenges are for female entrepreneurs around this?
Okay, so as I said before, I think I've been really lucky. So my experience of the corporate world was such that I spent nearly 8 years in planning and strategy. And that was, I had heads of department who did sales planning, marketing planning, finance planning, all of that. And I spent a lot of my time doing 1 to 3 year planning. Lots of other women who've worked in corporate environments or don't have any kind of entrepreneurial background, they've never experienced that, because most of us go to work, we do our jobs and we come home. And very often we're not involved in any of that to do with how a business is run. We don't get included in that. That's the kind of thing that happens behind closed doors. And we're just told what we need to do. So it happens in the background. And so when women decide that they want to run their business, they have all of this skill and all of this creativeness and all of these amazing skills, but they actually don't know how to harness them. They don't know how to pull them together. And that becomes scary. So they get overwhelmed by it. They don't understand where they're supposed to start. They start to think that they're not worthy. And actually, business planning is only for big businesses. And that is totally wrong. You know, I want every single woman who runs her own business to know that if she approaches having her compelling business vision, her dream, actually, she needs to have a plan that underpins that. Because you have to know what your vision is, but you have to know how you're going to get there. And it is a challenge, but once you can find that and once you start working on that, it's really, really empowering. And that's how you kind of step into that CEO role, rather than thinking, I'm just running my own business and, you know, the bit of the finger crossing and hoping for the best. It's much better to have some structure around how you're going to achieve that.
And I love what you said there, Anna, about the fact that people think that because they're running, like, you know, a business from their spare room or from their kitchen table, that actually planning doesn't apply to them. And it's only for people who've got big businesses. So I think that is really, really, really true.
You know, the key thing for me is that if big businesses are doing it and corporates and they spend their life in this cycle of planning, it's because it works. So if it can work for them, It can work for me, and it can work for you, and it can work for any businesswoman. It's about being able to scale it down and not being overwhelmed by it. It's just breaking it into smaller chunks.
Yeah, and I think that challenge that you talked about, where perhaps people in their previous roles haven't been exposed or involved in planning, that it can feel really overwhelming, which is obviously why we need people like yourself talking and supporting women to really understand that power of planning.
Yeah. I think just going back to that as well, Rachel, if I can, one of the key things, and clients that I work with, is very often for ladies who are creative. So, who aren't used to, I have to put my hand up and say I've always planned. I've always had lists everywhere. So that's just me, and I'm comfortable with it. But many women aren't. And particularly for creatives, they don't like feeling that that's kind of a bit boring, because it's very much about spontaneity and creativity rather than a pen and a pad and writing things down. But just by putting some simple steps in place, they can scale their business up really, really quickly.
Yeah, fabulous. Right, let's have a look at that then, because I know that part of what you wanted to share today was some things that people can do, some takeaways for their businesses from today's interview. So kind of in terms of trying to translate this now into kind of practical steps, what are the 3 biggest practical steps that you would like to share today that would help somebody who's perhaps not been planning consistently in the business, to get them started with this so they can start to really understand the power of using this strategy in their business?
Okay. I guess the first thing would be, however your week starts, whether that's on a Monday or a Sunday or whatever it is, start that week off reviewing a plan, whether that's a daily one, a weekly one, or a monthly one. It's about getting yourself into the mindset of where you are and where you're headed and how you're going to get there. So if you start your working week off that way, as a pointer for number 1, that's going to get you into the right mindset. And just as a caveat to that, if you don't have a plan, just start one. Don't get caught up with it has to be a template, or it has to be some huge document that some man in a workshop told me I had to have. It doesn't. It's whatever works for you. Number 2, don't be afraid to make changes. If you have a plan and it's not working, then change it. It's your plan. It's nobody else's. Review it. Try things out. If they don't work, change them. I think you and I have had a conversation before about the fact that some of the biggest companies in the UK that didn't stay on top of what was happening in the market and refused to change their course of action, they've gone bust.
Yeah.
So just because you plan something doesn't mean you can't change it. It's all about testing, and that's why the planning is a cycle.
Yes.
So I guess for me, number 3 is build that habit. If you get into a regular cycle of planning and reviewing, then you can start to split your plan into different segments. So part of this stepping up to be a CEO is, yes, you have your plan, and actually you still might be telling yourself that it's just little old you in your business. Well, it might be, but you're the CEO of that business, and you're also the sales manager and the marketing guru and the finance chick, and you're everything else, actually. So try and segment those areas of your business so that you can view them separately. Don't get overwhelmed and just plonk it all in one area. If it has to be on sticky notes around your laptop, whatever works for you is great, but have that complete overview of your business. Don't bury your head in the sand over something that you don't like. Have the complete overview and build that habit.
And do you think that one of the challenges that women have is that when they start to be really honest with themselves and look at that big, juicy, compelling vision, and then they realise that actually it's just a case of planning towards it, do you think part of the challenge is like building the belief, but kind of also like the whole scale of it. Is it quite overwhelming, do you think?
Of course,
Women
absolutely.
have so many different hats on, don't they? They're not just a businesswoman. I'm not saying that men are that much different, but for women, we are many things. So actually, you know, the idea of taking your compelling vision and saying, you know, I'm working towards this and I'm honouring this, because I think women struggle with putting themselves at the forefront and making themselves so important and their dreams so important. But I think what we forget is that actually, that when we are like the best version of ourselves and when we achieve great success in our business, it impacts on everybody really positively. It's not just about them, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's remembering, and I do always talk about that compelling vision. It's remembering what you're doing it for. And very often in the whole mire of everything and all that overwhelm, you can forget, because you get sucked into being in your business rather than working on it.
Yes.
And so by breaking it down into those smaller segments, it becomes less scary, it becomes more manageable. And each of those areas, whether it's marketing, sales, admin, finance, whatever it is, you can break that down further. You can just keep breaking it down.
Yeah, and ultimately you're going to get to a stage when you can either go and work with somebody like yourself, or that you can actually recruit somebody in who's an expert in, you know, let's say you want to do some advertising, maybe they're an expert in Google Ads or Facebook ads, and it's just something that's part of your plan, but somebody else delivers that for you. We're not like that. We're not having to scale up, but still remain working on our own.
Absolutely. And it's choosing the things that you know that you are good at, and recognizing the things that you know aren't your zone of genius and somebody else can help you with. And they can help you get there quicker than you can get there if you spend hours tearing your hair out trying to do something, because actually that's a bad use of your time. A CEO would never do that. They would employ a sales manager, they would employ a marketing manager if that wasn't their area of speciality. And that's the kind of mindset to get into.
I love that. So let's just summarize Anna's key points then. So in terms of like starting to harness the power of planning, and looking at the comments that people have been sharing as you've been discussing this, you know, this is really resonating with the audience. You know, there's Judith is like committing to working through this today. Jen's already recognised that she needs a plan for another aspect of her business. So the kind of three key areas for Anna was, even if you haven't got a plan, start today and start to plan that out. And she's given you some ideas about the sort of areas to look at within your business as well: finance, sales, marketing, all of the kind of key components. And I love this second one where it was like, don't be afraid of change, because I think sometimes you touched on it before when you said, you know, lots of us as female entrepreneurs are very creative and we've maybe come into this because we want more freedom. And, you know, a plan can often feel like, well, we're committing to this and we have to stick to this. But I love what you said is like, don't be afraid of changing that plan.
Absolutely.
And then the third one was to, you know, you don't just do this once. It's like everything. You don't just go on social media once with one post and like set the world on fire and then disappear. You know, it's like everything in business is about being consistent. So what can women do, like if they've like fallen off the planning wagon? What kind of things can they do to really get the fire back in their belly and really sit there like Judith is and think, right, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to crack this? You know, what kind of things can women do to really start set themselves and themselves on fire again?
Okay, so number one for me, and I know I've already said it, is about going back to basics. So remembering that compelling vision, remembering the why, the thing that gives you the fire in your belly, the reason why you're actually in business in the first place, is remembering why. So write that out. If you have to write it out, stick it on Post-it notes around your laptop. If you don't want to write out, if you're more visual, have a picture, have a vision board, have something stuck in the front of your notebook, whatever that might be. It's about harnessing that and then working out how you get towards that. So that might be baby steps. And very often in business, it isn't huge, great leaps. You know, things don't happen overnight. It's the sum of all parts. And so each little incremental step that you make is building your business towards having that dream. And so long as you are moving forward, even if you're static, then it doesn't matter, because each little step forward, or each pause and then step forward again, is moving you closer towards your dream, rather than feeling overwhelmed and actually not really knowing where you are in your business. The power of information and the power of knowing exactly where you are, and I know it's a huge topic for you, the whole money thing. So many women just bury their head in the sand about that. But I can't stress enough, if you don't know your figures and you don't know where you are, find out, because they don't lie. And that is going to empower you and give you the knowledge you need to move forward in your business.
And one thing I've always been very impressed with Anna is she always knows her numbers. She knows the numbers. So it's not that Anna's sitting here just preaching. She actually puts this into practice in her own business. And I know that in terms of your own business, it was an accident that you created your business, but you've got a highly successful business. So she really does know what she's talking about. And I love what you shared there, Anna, about, like getting back to basics and really understanding why the hell you're getting up every day to work in your business. And also, I think it's kind of really important that you bust one of the biggest myths that are around on social media, where we are led to believe that you can, grow a business, a truly successful business, a 6-figure business, a 7-figure business overnight. And I think we can get disenchanted with our journey when it takes longer than 6 weeks. Yeah. And I love that what you said about actually it's all the steps that move you towards achieving your dream.
Yeah, they're usually small ones, but put them all together and it's huge.
Yeah, fantastic. Anna, that has been amazing. I've got a final question for Anna, and this is one that I'm going to be asking all of my guests. But whilst I'm putting this question to Anna, look, she's all answering. Got any questions about your planning, or how you can get the fire back in your belly, or deal with any of your challenges, just pop them in the comments below. We will get to them. But what I really wanted to one final question for you, Anna, was, now here you are several years after running your own business. If you could go back to the younger version of yourself who was just starting up in business, what is the kind of piece of advice that you would love to give to your younger version that would make the biggest impact?
Oh, okay. How long have we got?
As long as it takes.
Okay, I guess thinking back to that time and where I am now, and that journey, is be true to yourself. Always be true to yourself, and don't compare yourself with other people. Because it's nobody else's journey, it's yours. It's no one else's success, it's yours. Stay true to your path and what you believe in, and don't compare yourself to others.
I love that. Yes, it is very easy when you're feeling vulnerable to be comparing yourself to other people. And there's that saying, isn't there, is that you might be comparing yourself at the start of your journey to somebody's middle or several years down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we never know what's around the corner. We've just got to keep on making those small steps forward. And you never know who is waiting to connect with you, which is phenomenal, isn't it? Thank you, Anna, so much. So, Anna, you have been awesome today. You've given us
It's been lovely.
Judith's going to go off. I hope other people who are watching this, I'm fairly sure Jen's going to go off and start planning. In terms of people keeping connected with you and learning more about how they can plan for success in their business, how can people keep connected with you?
Okay, so be lovely if any ladies would like to come and join my private Facebook group, which is Build Your Brilliant Business with Anna. That's full of wonderful women, and it's all about planning and compelling visions and a little bit of accountability and body kicking where needed. My Facebook page is AM Business Support. I'm over on Instagram. So lots of ways. I think we can possibly put some links in the comments after this when it's posted up, Rachel, maybe.
Yeah, I've put your free group up there.
Thank you.
Brilliant, that's great. And so yes, definitely, if we'll put the links in for how you can keep connected with Anna. And yeah, no, it's been really great, and I think it's such a great time to talk about this. You know, here we are heading towards that final quarter.
Perfect.
And I know lots of people get very excited about this period of time and think, oh, okay, I'm going to make it happen in the next 3 months. And you can, you know,
final push.
Yeah, it is a final push, but it's an exciting time as well, because, you know, whatever you put in place now, whatever you learn about yourself and your business, whatever you generate, is that actually you can just go on and Alison Goodwin's got this lovely idea that, you know, once you figured out what works in your business, it's just a case of pulling the levers, so that when, you know, you get into the beginning of 2019, you've got your plan, you've got your evidence about things that work, you just keep on pulling the lever and things happen. I always think of like a signal box levers, because I don't think one lever in a business, but I think of a signal box with lots of levers in it. But thank you, Anna. It has been absolutely brilliant. Anybody who's watching the recording back, if you've got questions, put them up. I will pass them on to Anna,
yeah, totally.
And I know that she'll be happy to come back and share those with you. In terms of this series of interviews, Anna's very happily and brilliantly kicked this off for me. I have got more interviews coming for you, and let's just catch up with Judy. She's put very timely. I've been able to suggest yesterday that this is key for me now and getting some help and so I can grow my business. Yay!
Oh, brilliant. That's great.
Yes, brilliant. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
I've got more comments coming in. I know sometimes there's a little bit of a time lag. So Cheryl's put, I make lists, had always thought that wasn't proper planning. This video's helped me realise I'm a better planner than I realised.
Oh, excellent. It is. Yeah. It's whatever works. It's nobody else's vision, is it?
Really good is that, Cheryl. And it might be a case of just doing a little bit of a review and thinking, right, okay, what works really well in terms of my planning, and where can I just add a little bit more in? Jen says, Anna, you are indeed brilliant.
Oh,
your wealth of knowledge is amazing. She's great, isn't she? Yeah. Right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and it's great to see your reactions to the content that Anna's shared with us. Happy planning, and I'll be back with more interviews really soon. Bye for now.
Bye.